Imagine waking up one day and realizing that, for the first time in your life, you truly understand who you are. Not just the version of yourself shaped by expectations, not the identity given to you by society, but the real, raw essence of your being. Think about it. How much of your life has been spent trying to fit into molds that were never meant for you? How many times have you silenced your own voice just to be accepted? What if I told you that the life you seek, the happiness you crave, and the freedom you desire all begin the moment you find yourself? And the most powerful revelation of all comes at the end. The journey to discovering oneself is not just a philosophical pursuit, it is the foundation of a meaningful life. From ancient wisdom to modern psychology, some of the greatest minds in history have tried to unravel the mystery of self-discovery. Today, we embark on this journey together. If you have ever felt lost, uncertain, or trapped in a life that does not feel like your own, then stay with me until the very end, because what I am about to share might just change the way you see yourself and the world forever. What does it truly mean to find yourself? Is it about chasing happiness, achieving success, or following a passion? Or is it something deeper, something that requires peeling away layers of conditioning, fears, and limiting beliefs? Many people go through life without ever asking these questions, simply following a path that was laid out for them. But those who dare to ask, those who seek, are the ones who truly begin to live. Carl Jung, one of the most influential psychologists of all time, spoke about individuation, the process of becoming who you truly are. He argued that most people live as fragmented versions of themselves, disconnected from their deeper nature. The self that you present to the world, the persona, is often a mask carefully crafted to gain acceptance and avoid rejection. But beneath that mask lies something much more powerful, your true self, waiting to be acknowledged, waiting to be set free. Why is it so difficult to find ourselves? The answer lies in how we are conditioned from birth. From a young age, we are taught what is right and wrong, what is acceptable and what is not. We learn to seek approval, to follow rules, to meet expectations. And in doing so, we often lose sight of what truly makes us, us. Think back to when you were a child, before the world told you who you were supposed to be. What did you love? What made you feel alive? That pure, unfiltered version of yourself still exists within you. Jean-Paul Sartre, one of the leading figures in existentialism, believed that people struggle because they try to live according to external definitions rather than creating their own meaning. He argued that true freedom comes when we take full responsibility for defining who we are, rather than letting society do it for us. But this kind of freedom is terrifying for many, because it means there is no script to follow, only the path you carve for yourself. Now, ask yourself, who are you when no one is watching? If there were no expectations, no labels, no pressure, what would you do? How would you live? The answers to these questions are the first clues to finding your true self. And this process is not about becoming someone new. It is about uncovering who you have always been. Many spiritual traditions have explored this concept for centuries. The ancient Greeks inscribed the words, "Know thyself," at the Temple of Apollo in Delphi, emphasizing that self-knowledge is the foundation of wisdom. In Eastern philosophy, the journey of self-discovery is often described as peeling away illusions, realizing that we are not merely our thoughts, our roles, or our past experiences, but something much deeper. The concept of moksha in Hinduism or nirvana in Buddhism represents liberation from false identities and illusions, a return to one's true essence. But here is the challenge. Finding yourself requires courage. It means questioning everything you have been told, everything you have believed, and everything you have identified with. It means facing uncomfortable truths, stepping into the unknown, and sometimes even walking away from things that no longer align with who you are becoming. This is why many people avoid it. They prefer the familiarity of their old identity, even if it keeps them trapped. So, where do you begin? The first step is awareness. Begin observing yourself, your thoughts, your emotions, your reactions. Notice the patterns you have been living by. Are they truly yours, or were they given to you by someone else? The second step is exploration. Try new experiences. Ask deep questions. Allow yourself to be curious. Who are you beyond your job, your relationships, your past? And finally, embrace the discomfort. Growth never happens inside the comfort zone. But here is the most important thing to understand. This journey is not about finding a perfect final version of yourself. It is about embracing change, evolution, and the endless unfolding of who you are meant to be. The self is not a fixed destination. It is a lifelong process of becoming. And in the end, the people who truly live are not the ones who follow a script, but the ones who write their own. The greatest tragedy is not failure, not mistakes, not even pain. It is going through life without ever truly knowing yourself. Because when you find yourself, that is when life truly begins. This is only the beginning. The real transformation happens when you apply this knowledge, when you take action. And in the next part, we will go even deeper into the steps you can take to break free from false identities and step into your most authentic self. The most powerful revelation is still to come. Are you ready? If you are still here, it means something inside you is awakening. Maybe you have felt for a long time that there is more to life than what you have been living. Maybe you have sensed that the version of yourself you have been carrying is not truly yours. And now you are ready to take the next step. But here is the truth. Finding yourself is not a single moment of clarity. It is a journey, a process of unfolding, a continuous discovery. And the deeper you go, the more you will realize how much of your life has been built on layers that were never truly yours. Today we go even deeper. To truly find yourself, you must first break free from the illusions that have kept you trapped. One of the greatest obstacles to self-discovery is the fear of rejection. From childhood, we are conditioned to believe that our worth depends on how well we fit into the expectations of others. We are praised for being good, for following the rules, for making others comfortable. But what happens when who you truly are does not fit into those expectations? Carl Rogers, one of the most influential psychologists of the 20th century, spoke about conditional self-worth, the idea that many people only feel valuable if they meet certain standards set by others. This creates a false self, a version of you that is built not on your truth, but on the fear of not being accepted. And the longer you live this way, the more disconnected you become from your true self. Think about it. How much of your personality, your dreams, and even your opinions are truly yours? How many of your choices have been driven by what you should do rather than what you truly desire? It is a painful realization, but it is also the first step toward liberation. Because once you see the illusion, you can begin to break free from it. Now, let's talk about identity. Many people mistake their identity for the roles they play in life. They say, I am a student, I am a mother, I am a businessman, as if these labels define their entire existence. But who are you beyond those roles? If all of it were stripped away, what would remain? This question is at the heart of existentialist thought. Søren Kierkegaard, often called the father of existentialism, believed that most people live in what he called despair, not because they are sad, but because they are not truly themselves. He described different forms of despair, including the despair of living in a false identity, of pretending to be something you are not, and he argued that the only way out is to take full responsibility for your own existence, to choose who you are rather than passively accepting an identity given to you. So how do you begin to find your true identity? One of the most powerful exercises is self-inquiry. Start asking yourself deep questions. What would I do if I had no fear of judgment? When do I feel most alive? What have I always been drawn to, even as a child? If I had only 1 year to live, how would I spend it? These questions may seem simple, but if you take them seriously, they can reveal profound insights about who you really are. Your truth is already inside you. You just have to remove the noise that has been drowning it out. But here is the hardest part. To find yourself, you must be willing to lose who you thought you were. You must be willing to let go of old identities, old beliefs, and even old relationships that no longer align with your truth. And this is terrifying for many people, because even if their current life is unfulfilling, at least it is familiar. The unknown is frightening, but growth only happens when you step into that unknown. This is why so many spiritual traditions emphasize the idea of death and rebirth, not in a literal sense, but as a transformation of the self. The person you once were must die so that the person you truly are can emerge. This is seen in myths and stories throughout history, the hero who must leave behind their old life to embark on a journey of self-discovery, only to return transformed. And now, you are at that crossroads. You can continue living as the version of yourself that was created by others, or you can step into the unknown, and start discovering who you really are. The choice is yours. But what happens after you find yourself? How do you build a life that is aligned with your true nature? In the next part, we will explore the practical steps you can take to live authentically, to make decisions that reflect your truth, and to create a life that is truly your own. And the most powerful lesson of all is yet to come. If you have made it this far, something inside you is already shifting. Maybe you have started questioning the masks you wear, the beliefs you have carried, and the roles you have played. But now comes the most important part. How do you take this understanding and turn it into real change? How do you move from knowing who you are to actually living as that person? Because the truth is, self-discovery means nothing if it does not lead to action. Many people realize they are not living as their true selves, but they stay stuck in the same patterns, trapped by fear, comfort, or external pressure. But if you are truly ready to transform your life, then the next steps are crucial. The first and most powerful step is alignment. Finding yourself is not just about understanding who you are, it is about aligning your life with that truth. Think of your life as a puzzle. Every decision you make, every relationship you keep, every habit you maintain is either a piece that fits or a piece that does not. And if too many pieces do not belong, the picture of your life will always feel incomplete, distorted, or frustrating. So ask yourself, where in my life am I acting out of alignment? Are there parts of my life that do not reflect my true self? Maybe it is a job that drains you, a relationship that no longer serves you, or even a daily routine that keeps you stagnant. The first step to change is awareness. Once you see the misalignment, you cannot ignore it. But awareness alone is not enough. You must also have the courage to take action. And this is where most people hesitate, because realigning your life often means making difficult decisions. It might mean walking away from something that once felt safe. It might mean disappointing others. It might mean stepping into the unknown without a clear roadmap. But here is the paradox. The more you delay these changes, the more lost you will feel. The longer you wait, the more painful it becomes. Think of the people you admire most, not the ones who are simply successful, but the ones who radiate authenticity, purpose, and peace. What do they have in common? They have built lives that reflect who they truly are. They have made the hard choices. They have faced their fears. And because of that, they wake up every day knowing they are living a life that is truly theirs. But how do you do this? How do you move from knowing to acting? One of the most effective ways is through intentional decision-making. Every time you are faced with a choice, ask yourself, does this bring me closer to my true self or further away? Is this decision based on fear, obligation, or expectation? Or is it based on authenticity, purpose, and freedom? If you begin making choices from this place, your life will start transforming in ways you never imagined. Of course, this does not mean the journey will be easy. There will be resistance, both from within yourself and from the world around you. Your own mind will try to pull you back into old patterns, whispering doubts, fears, and excuses. And people in your life may resist your transformation, especially if they have benefited from you staying the way you were. But here is the truth. The people who truly love you will support your growth. And those who do not, they were never meant to be part of your true path anyway. This is what Viktor Frankl, the great psychologist and Holocaust survivor, meant when he said that life is not about seeking pleasure or avoiding pain, but about finding meaning. Meaning is what sustains us, and meaning comes from living in alignment with who we truly are. But here is the most exciting part. Once you start living authentically, life begins to unfold in ways you never expected. Opportunities appear. The right people come into your life. Decisions become clearer. Because when you operate from truth, everything else starts falling into place. Now, there is one final and most powerful lesson left, one that will completely shift the way you see yourself and your place in the world. In the next part, we will uncover the greatest secret about self-discovery, one that will not only help you find yourself, but also show you how to live with purpose, fulfillment, and peace. If you have come this far, do not stop now. The most profound realization is still to come. You have come this far because something inside you is searching for truth. And now we arrive at the most powerful realization of all, one that will not only change the way you see yourself, but also redefine how you live from this moment forward. What if I told you that finding yourself is not actually about discovering something new? What if the real secret is that you have never been lost at all? Think about it. From the moment you were born, the core of who you are has always been there. But over time, layers of conditioning, expectations, fears, and beliefs covered that truth. You were never truly lost. You were only buried beneath everything you were told to be. And the journey of self-discovery. It is not about becoming someone new. It is about remembering who you were before the world told you who to be. This is what many ancient philosophies and spiritual traditions have tried to teach us. The concept of Atman in Hinduism, the idea of the true self in Zen Buddhism, and even the Socratic principle of knowing thyself, they all point to the same truth. You are already whole. You do not need to find yourself as if you were missing. You need to return to yourself. But how do you do that? How do you strip away everything that is not you and reconnect with the truth that has always been inside you? The answer is presence. The more you live in the present moment, the more you reconnect with yourself. When you are fully present, you are not caught in the expectations of the past or the fears of the future. You simply are. And in that state, your true self begins to emerge naturally. Eckhart Tolle, one of the most influential modern spiritual teachers, explains this in The Power of Now. He says that the reason so many people feel disconnected from themselves is because they are trapped in constant mental noise, overthinking, worrying, reliving past mistakes, planning endlessly for the future. But the real you exists beyond all of that. It exists in the now. So here is the final challenge. Can you let go of the distractions and just be? Can you sit in silence, observe your thoughts, and listen, not to the noise of the world, but to the voice within? Because that voice has been there all along, waiting for you to pay attention. But here is the ultimate truth. Finding yourself is not the end of the journey. It is only the beginning. Once you know who you are, the real work begins, living in alignment with that truth every single day. And that requires constant choice, constant courage, and constant awareness. This is what great thinkers like Friedrich Nietzsche meant when they spoke of becoming who you are. It is not a one-time realization, it is a daily practice, a commitment, a way of being. So now the choice is in your hands. You can walk away from this knowledge and return to old patterns, or you can embrace this truth and step into the life that has been waiting for you all along. Because life does not truly begin when you are born. It begins when you find yourself. And now you are ready. Thanks for looking.